not a passport bro. That's just the way men see the world. The women are up in arms. Women just trashing these passport bros. Look at the woman across the bed from you right now. Why are there so many ladyboys in the Philippines?
Why do you have a lot of third sexes here?
To get drunk, to have sex with hookers, and to survive in Asia as long as possible without the money running out. And it's purely financial.
I don't fool around and I don't scam.
Gold digger, we talked about that before. Do you know what a gerontophile is?
No.
And, have you ever heard of chronophilia?
No.
In the West, 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 in money, they will marry you even if you have 3 noses. Hey Chrissy, do you know what a hermaphrodite is? What do you think a sugar daddy is?
But talking about passport bro and sexpat, you have the personality, you have the love, but you don't have financial. It can create a problem. It should be like a complete package.
You are on me like white on rice. Explain all that.
Do you have a passport?
Hey Chrissy, I'm here to admit a huge mistake I made.
Oh my god.
We had a really popular video called the 90-Day Expat Plan. In that video, Chrissy, I kind of screwed up. I assumed that I knew the proper definition of a passport bro. The 90-Day Plan, I hope everybody's seen it. I have to admit my mistake. I thought a passport bro was synonymous with sexpat, and I published several references to that in the video. I heard from you, I listened to you, I checked the Urban Dictionary. The Urban Dictionary says passport bros are men who've chosen to seek women in other countries, and they just are not happy. They don't find traditional women in their home country. They have passports and they're looking for women who are pleasant, pleasing, and are more old school. And they go looking for those women, and they're looking for romantic relationships. They may be looking for sex, but they could be the explorer, they could be the romantic. They're not the sexpat. And I apologize for anybody who saw that video and realized that I made that mistake. You know, in explaining how it came to be, I never in a million years would have called myself a passport bro. I've heard people refer to passport bros sort of negatively. And in preparation for this video, Chrissy, we watched a couple of other resources, and what we saw was there are women in the West that are turning the term passport bro into a derogatory term. They're up to here. They can't believe that men can get on an airplane and go find alternative women, women who aren't full of themselves, women who aren't working the job and being the boss, women who you know, behave more like a guy's mom and are a little bit more compliant. Now, these men often find these women in countries where there is a lot of poverty, and women are looking for security like women everywhere. And just because a passport bro finds a woman in the Philippines or finds a woman in Thailand doesn't mean that the relationship is about money. Many of these men are much, much younger than me. They're looking for love. They're bringing women back to the United States, back to Canada. They're getting them green cards. They're working real jobs. And they're just happier with the selection of women they're finding overseas. And to anybody out there, especially the African-American men who sort of started this trend, and that term passport brother is kind of important to them, I do apologize. Mark it here, Chrissy. It might be my first and only ever apology.
I hope this will be the first and the last apology that we're gonna make here in front of our viewers. So I'm a little bit confused about passport bro and sexpat too. Like me myself, I thought it's like really the same.
In the Urban Dictionary, it states that a passport bro is just looking for a wider selection of women, and they're seeking women who aren't entitled and can offer a more, just a better selection, better opportunity, a different type of woman. They exist. And you know, for years, Chrissy, military men have found their wives overseas. You know, the opportunity to serve in the military took men to many different countries, and they had way more experiences than the men back home, and quite often they met women that they were enchanted with, and they brought them home. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about taking advantage of younger women. It had nothing to do with that. And a passport bro is sort of a modern day man who's realizing that, well, you don't have to be in the military to travel. and to explore the world and to meet women. And to some extent, I guess I'm a passport bro. I've always called myself an expat. So according to the Urban Dictionary, an expat is what a Westerner chooses to say because immigrant sounds so awful, and we don't like to call ourselves immigrants, and we just call ourselves expats. It actually means the same thing. Now, the Urban Dictionary also says a sexpat is a man who travels seeking sex, but for money primarily. They're not necessarily looking for romance. They're not looking for romance. They're not looking for enchanted adventures. They're looking for sex, and they go to third world countries where it's readily available or where prostitution is legal. Sexpats are on the prowl for sex in Southeast Asia primarily. Sexpats only have 3 main motivations according to the Urban Dictionary: to get drunk, to have sex with hookers, and to survive in Asia as long as possible without the money running out.
Well, you know, in my mind, I really thought that passport bro is just the same as that. Like, you know, using the passport as a ticket to go to other country and then there seek just pleasure with other different women at different days. So
Yes.
that's what I thought about passport bro.
Yeah, and I jumped to the wrong assumption. I'm here to say that I was wrong. But I think that there are different types of men who come seeking relationships in Asia. There are those who are the romantic. They're looking for a fiance. They're looking for a bride. There are those who are like looking for a vacation girlfriend experience. You know, they really want what's called a girlfriend experience, and that is, you know, a girl that'll, you're not paying for it, but she'll travel with you. She'll give you a massage in the morning. She'll go out to the waterfalls, and for, you know, 2-3 weeks you can travel all over Southeast Asia, all over Mexico, have the time of your life, but then you're going to go back home and you may never see her again. You might come back, and if she'll let you, come back a year or 2 later, you might want to do that again. But, you know, that's a different kind of, that's not a passport bro necessarily, but it's a different kind of Westerner. To be honest with you, Chrissy, you know, all men, I think, are, maybe all people, they're trying to juggle. They're playing musical chairs with their best prospects, and they're trying to line up 2 or 3 women here in Asia.
Well, you know, before we talk about it, that I really don't like the idea of lining up candidates for you to date, especially if I will know that my man is dating several person as candidates aside from me. So I will not like that. But you know, eventually, as I live this life together with a foreigner, hearing those stories, sad stories that other expat also experience here in the Philippines, it came up into my mind that it is really important to have a group of candidates where you can really select. Because if you're gonna focus just on only one person, you can compare it to any other person, and you can find what's the best.
And you run the risk of, you know, you hook up right away, and then you get to the Philippines, and there's beautiful Filipinas everywhere, and they're all interested in the Western man. You may have picked the wrong Filipina and never really got a chance to date around.
Yes, which is I am also afraid of.
Yeah. So Chrissy actually has stated she doesn't like the idea of a man who's already in the Philippines, has already been with a couple of Filipino girls before she would meet him. She only would want, I think you said to me, if we weren't together, you would only want to date a man who'd never been to the Philippines.
It's not who've never been to the Philippines, but I want to date a man that when we met, there's only one he's talking, which is May, because I know myself that I don't fool around and I don't scam. So that's why for me it's important that the man also will focus on me, because if he's already here in the Philippines, you can't really clear that in your mind that this man already met a lot of Filipinas here in the Philippines, because he's already on the ground, which is surrounded by a lot of beautiful Filipinas out there.
Yeah, you know, Chrissy, we got a comment this week from a man who said, you know, this business of younger women with Western men, it's all BS. If the Filipino women were interested in older men, they would date older men in Filipino society, and there's no such thing as that going on. And I thought, well, that's not accurate. Chrissy, we know personally several, not one, but several older Filipino men dating women half their age, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's common?
Yes, it's common.
And then there's a very famous actress that came from a wealthy family, and then she graduated college and went off to become a movie star. So she was wealthy like a princess growing up.
Yes,
then she made her own money as a movie star, and her name is...
So Beauty Gonzalez came from a very prominent family in Dumaguete. They have this big farm. We call her like Hashindera, a princess of the family. But she ended up marrying a man that is 25 or older.
25 years.
25 years older than her. So, is it about money? No. So it is really possible that you can find love no matter what age gap you have in your partner. But they got, you know, they said that the only reason that a young Filipina will be in a relationship with an older man is because of the money. I don't think so.
You know, we did a video last week with Chacha the Reina Filipina, and we talked about gold digging, and we talked about security and love. And you know, many people wrote in and said, boy, you hit the nail on the head, or the girls when they were talking in this interview hit the nail on the head, because I don't know any women in the West who are just romantically inclined to marry a man without wondering whether he can provide and provide for children. And boy, I'll tell you what, if a man loses his job in the West and sits home for 6 months and doesn't get another job, watch out. There's a 50% divorce rate, and I think there's a lot of candidates in that divorce court who found themselves on the wrong end of being downsized or in a challenging economy. They got laid off at the factory, they made a mistake at the job, didn't get the reference for the next job. Wow, that woman, where'd the love go? When the money stops flowing, where'd the love go? And I don't know any women who are only interested in love and not interested in security. So people are challenging these age gap relationships because there's a security component. And you know, today, Chrissy, while I was at the Urban Dictionary looking up Sexpat and Passport Brothers and realizing what a dunderhead I was in making that mistake, I looked up a couple of other things, and one of them is, you know, what is an age gap relationship? Well, it's a romantic relationship where there's a large difference in age and between two partners, and is consensual, and in a larger age gap than average. And we have a 37-year age gap. It's way larger than average, but I've been married 27 years before. I've been in a couple of long-term relationships, and I've never personally felt more loved. Now, you know, maybe I'm pretty thick in the head, but you know, in terms of defining an age gap relationship, I've mentioned this before. In Western society, there was this rule: divide by half plus 7. If you're a 30-year-old man, well, you divide your age by half, you get 15, add 7, 22. So you could show up anywhere as a 30-year-old with a 22-year-old woman and go to the best country club, the best social circles. If you're a 70-year-old man, well, the woman has to be 42 years old, otherwise you're going to get stink-eye. And here we are, Chrissy, we are outside the boundaries of the half plus 7. I think we'd get some hate from people even if we were within the boundaries. The other thing is interesting, once you, I call it a semi-permeable membrane. There's all these people probably on the other side of this camera. I know there's a lot of people here in the Philippines that watch our channel, but most people are back in America, Canada, Australia, Britain, and they're trying to figure out how to migrate through this membrane. And there's scammers and liars and cheaters and relatives that are threatening to like never talk to you again if you do it, and you know, you have to like make these financial calculations. But if you can find your way through, you pop out here in the Philippines, and then what happens here is we'll go to an expat meeting with 10 other expat couples. They're all happy. They've been married 10 years. They've been married 5 years. A bunch of them have kids. They're all in these normal relationships. Everybody's just living their life and being happy. And that world on the other side of the membrane, you know, you're so worried that this isn't going to work, and you're going to like sell your house and your relatives and kids will never speak to you again. And then you'll get here and you'll have, you know, and there are stories. We've interviewed an expat who's, you know, whose wife put him in jail for taking a baby and, you know, slept with another man. So it's not all roses, but for the most part, there's nothing but happy and well-adjusted expats here with beautiful Filipinas. And I know plenty of people in Thailand and others in Mexico. The challenge is getting from A to B. Chrissy gives some secrets on her tips on how to date online. Chrissy, some other definitions, they call it a May-December romance.
What's May, December?
Well, you're May and I'm December. It's when there's a youthful person and an older person in a romance. And it is a relationship between people with a large age gap, a May-December romance. Some other terms that are relevant here. Gold digger, we talked about that before. You know, the joke is, older man says to the young woman, hey, do you need a ride? She says, no, thanks, I'm not interested. She sees him get in a Ferrari. She says, I'll take that ride. Because she's just interested in the gold.
In the gold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the technical definition, and in Tagalog, it's called a manghuhuthot. A manghuhuthot.
Manghuhuthot.
Say it again.
Manghuhuthot.
That's a gold digger.
It's it's a gold digger. It's like extracting everything that you have, like taking it.
Like a leech.
Yeah, like a leech.
So if you're an expat and you hear somebody mumble manghuhuthot,
Manghuhuthot, yeah.
you know they're calling you a gold digger or your girl. And then the Urban Dictionary says someone who only likes people because of how much money they have or because of the items they own, according to the Urban Dictionary. Now, another term, have you ever heard the term sugar daddy?
Oh, yes.
What do you think a sugar daddy is?
Well, sugar daddy, it's like a boyfriend that is older than you, like much older than you and supporting you financially.
But maybe not, he's a married boyfriend.
Oh, it could be.
Okay.
But, you know, like, I heard also saying that you're my sugar daddy, which I was like, it feels like inappropriate, and I don't want somebody else to call you like my sugar daddy because I don't treat you like that.
Right.
And it's just for me, it's like a nasty title for.
And it's purely financial, to help cover tuition, bills, and other financial needs. Now there's some distinction here apparently. A sugar daddy has a budgeted amount that he can afford to spend for his girl. A honey daddy is the cream of the crop. He's got unlimited funds to spend for the girl that he wants to keep on the side. So there's the sugar daddy and the honey daddy. Why are there so many ladyboys in the Philippines, do you think?
Because here they're not discriminated. So they can express themselves freely, and they will feel like they're welcome in the society. So that's why there's a lot of ladyboys and gays that showing up. They show what the real personality they have, the real them, and we don't judge them. Maybe some will, but we don't make them feel that they are different from us. That's why you can tell why do you have a lot of third sexes here. It's because they're free to show what they are. They don't need to hide it. Maybe in some other places you will say, I can't see it from this place because they will not feel accepted if they will show.
You're a big fan of Miss Universe?
Yeah.
Chrissy watches Miss Universe. You think it was the NFL championship or the World Cup. She just is crazed about, because the Philippines, they do so well.
Yeah.
You know, people don't think Filipino women are pretty. Well, they're winning Miss Universe about every 3 years. But there were two ladyboys this year, trans people.
Right.
Yeah, one from Portugal and one, you remember the other one? It wasn't
Netherlands?
Netherlands was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people hadn't told you, I don't think you would have known. You would have been able to figure it out. Yeah, very interesting. So no judgment there, just making commentary. So here's a good one: a gerontophile. Do you know what a gerontophile is?
No.
Someone who is sexually attracted to old people. And have you ever heard of chronophilia?
No.
Chronophilia is where someone's attracted to a particular age group. And a lot of the Philippine women here, you know, the interviews on the streets, there's so many vloggers out interviewing these gals on the street, and they all want an older man. They all, you know, probably, what do you think? I mean, I'm older than the target, but the average girlfriend of yours, what age man would they really be seeking? 50, 45, 55?
Maybe 40 to 50.
Would be the ideal age?
Maybe to them.
Yeah.
Actually, when I signed up in a website,
It's 40 to 60.
I wrote there 40 to 60.
Yeah.
And then, but you can't really tell because when you already meet the person, you can't see the number in your age. What you will feel is the connection that you have and the love.
I agree with all of that. I think what for the men that are watching this, they need to consider whether they want to get a 22-year-old or 23-year-old girlfriend or not. I mean, they've done these sociology experiments where all men are attracted to women roughly 22 to 24. All women are attracted to men in their mid-30s. And you know, these women back west that think, oh, it's so horrible you're attracted to a 23-year-old. It's like genetically programmed into men. They've done these studies where blind, you know, they just show pictures of women of all ages, and no matter what age the man, 22 to 24 is what he likes, okay? Because there's health, and you know, she looks like she can bear children probably. Women, they see a man in his mid-30s, they probably feel like he can provide security. He's strong, he's healthy, he can go out there and chop lumber, whatever needs to be done. So men, you know, you just have to think about whether a 22 or 23-year-old girlfriend is going to be mature enough, because I don't really think people have kind of, their personalities have totally kind of come full circle yet. They haven't quite cemented, and a person can change quite a bit between 22, 23, and maybe 28. And Chrissy, we met, you were 29, just about to turn 30. You're 30 now. And I feel quite secure with Chrissy's personality. I don't think she's going to become a different person. But if she was 22 or 23, I'd be worried that girlfriends could influence her, situations might arise, and she might morph into a slightly different personality as she's still growing. So I think men need to decide in terms of the age gap. You know, that's a big consideration. Yeah. What do you think? Comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah. So what do you think?
So I think I am not really against about this elder men that are watching to date around 22 to 25 years old women, because as what I said before in our previous video, maturity is not based on the age of the person, but it is on the ability to think to think things big and comprehensively. But there is like a really big percentage that the person that you will be dating, when she's too young, it will still have the chance to change when she grow older. It's just like, you know, if I'm gonna, let's have this analogy, it's just like accepting a little plant in your family, and then you like the plant because it's beautiful and you're thinking it's gonna grow like a rose. So as the time evolves, it will grow, and then you will just find out that it's not a rose, it's another plant. So it's just a weed.
You know, and you could have a girlfriend who likes to go clubbing, or you could have another, you could move to the west with your girl, and she meets another young Filipina, and her husband is okay with her going out to the clubs and is okay with a lot of alcohol consumption or maybe a little ecstasy at the club. And boy, if she's 24 or 25, that can take a turn for the worst.
But talking about Passport Bro and Sexpats, I think if you're gonna say Sexpat, they don't really matter what the age of the person they're gonna date, as long as it is as long as it's in legal age.
You know, in Thailand, you've never been there, but some of our friends just went to Pattaya, and I have a very good friend in Pattaya, and I went to visit him, and you know, he showed me everything that goes on there. And they have a walking street just like Angeles City here, and there's one in Pattaya, and there's one in Chiang Mai. They'll have a walking street where the go-go bars, and it's crazy. But then they'll have all these other districts, and they have one called 6th Street where the girls are particularly young, maybe 20, 21 years old. You know, these men are there for a 2 or 3 week adventure. Some of these countries, just the idea of a woman having sex before marriage is so prohibited that men are starved of the opportunity to experience sex, and they travel here to Asia and other countries where prostitution is legal or quasi-legal. So, and then a lot of Western men, you know, they're frustrated, they come here, and this is what they do. That's why the industry is just, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people involved in the industry.
So how about you think the dating system of a Passport Bro?
I think that according to the Urban Dictionary definition, every expat was once a Passport Bro. It's something of a new and evolving term. I think the big problem with the term is the women are up in arms because they see this as a growing trend. They see men saying, hey, screw you, I'm going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
I can get a condo overlooking the water for $700 a month, and I can get myself a drop-dead gorgeous Vietnamese girl who's going to make me meals and clean the house. And, you know, is she more compliant? Possibly. Is she more of an old school woman the way his mother was? Probably. But there's lots of cultural challenges in Vietnam that he's going to face. There's environmental challenges, not all everything good. And if he brings her back to the United States, he runs the risk that the culture in the West and her girlfriends at work are going to change her into the same woman he decided wasn't for him. But I think women in the West, because we watched a bunch of interviews online of women just trashing these passport bros.
Yeah.
Man, were they angry. They were angry that this opportunity existed. It's like it was like cheating. They thought it was like so unfair that men would just grab their passport and go and meet these beautiful women from countries where women would think you're rich when you're not rich. Well, wait a minute. To them, you're rich. What's wrong with that? If you're just getting by in America and you get on an airplane, you show up in the Philippines and you're rich. You know, in the Philippines, if you have $41,000 a year in income, you are considered rich. And I think it's only like $62,000 in the bank, you're considered rich. So a school teacher here makes like 24,000 pesos a month, right? Which is about $400 a month. A police officer might make $500 a month. An army guy might make $500 a month. If you're working construction, you're making like $7 or $8, $9 a day. So you have a job in America, or you're a digital nomad and you're only making 30 or 40,000 US dollars a year. You come to Thailand, you come to the Philippines, yeah, you're rich, and the women see you as like someone who can provide security. And women in the West and women everywhere are looking for security and romance. And anybody who tells you that it's all gold digging, well, look at your own backyard. Look at the relationship you're in. Look at the woman across the bed from you right now. Look at the woman making you breakfast. Is she there only for love? And if you stop paying the bills, will she be there in a year? Maybe. Maybe. But there's a lot of women, and that's why the county in Arizona where I was from, it's a divorce rate's over 50%. What's happening? What's happening in America is the job security that men used to have, where they join one corporation and be there for 40 or 50 years until they go to Gold Watch, that's all gone away. The pensions that men used to get, it's all gone away. People are getting downsized by these crazy corporate money houses that figured out that we can replace you with artificial intelligence, we can replace you with a foreign worker, we can outsource your job. We don't need you anymore. Now you've been with the company 25 years, you're seasoned, you're an executive, but man, you're making too much money, we'll see you later. And guess what? When you leave that corporate job, there's not a lot of other jobs that pay like that. And now the woman in your life, how is she going to react when you're working at Best Buy, when you're working at Walmart as a greeter? Are you really going to do that? Yeah, go ahead, Chrissy.
Yeah, so I think every woman wants to have a healthy relationship. And to have that healthy relationship, it should have this personality, love, and financial. So I believe in that. So if there's if there's just love and financial, but the personality of the person that you are with is not the personality that you wanted in your life, then you can't consider.
It'd be such a burden if you had.
Yeah, you cannot really have a healthy relationship. You have the personality, you have the love, but you don't have financial. It can create a problem. So it's not really a healthy relationship at all. But if you have this, if you have money and have the personality, but no matter how big the money is, how good the personality, but you just can't feel love, then that's not a healthy relationship. It's like a suffering being together with a person you don't love. So it should be like a complete package. And there's no perfect relationship, but it can be worked on. Like you can work on it. Sure. Like if the financial is not really that much, but you love the person, you love the personality, that's the time that you're gonna work together to gain more money.
You know, there's this YouTube going around about these two Las Vegas detectives. They draw this graph and they describe how men pick women. You know, is she crazy? How beautiful is she and how crazy she is? And then at the end they flip it around and they go, this is how, for women it's so simple. Anybody on a scale of 1 to 10 who's a 5 or higher, marry him on wealth. If he's 5 or higher in money, marry him. If he's 8 or higher in looks, date him. But if he doesn't have at least so if you're 8 in looks, 9 in looks, but you're below 5, Well, you can be dated.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's crazy funny. It's got like 10, 15 million views on YouTube. So
Yeah.
if what they're really saying is women are like, if you're 5 or higher financially, if you're an accountant in America and you make 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 in money, they will marry you even if you have 3 noses. That's what in the West. So to say that money doesn't come into play in Western societies is just nonsense, I think. You know, Chrissy, one of the things that I find totally fascinating is, like, I think you're like Miss Philippines, and you know, I shouldn't let you out of my sight, and I should be very concerned about anybody who shows any interest in you. But it's the other way around in our relationship. You are on me like white on rice, like I'm gonna get away, like I'm gonna sneak out the door. I found the love of my life. I feel like I won the lottery, yet you're worried. Explain all that.
Do you have a passport?
Yeah, I have a passport. I could slip away.
You have a passport.
But what would I run away from? What? No, seriously. In all seriousness, Chrissy. I mean, I think people would want to know, how is it that a Filipino like you, you know you're good looking. You sing like an angel. We're engaged to be married, but you're always worried.
Because as I said, there's no perfect relationship, and there are a lot of people out there that the relationship is almost perfect, but they did not focus on the positive that they have, but they focus on the things that they don't have in the relationship, and that can make the relationship breakable. So I'm not really like 100% afraid, scared that, you know, because based on your history, it is something that I can hold on, and you know,
Good history.
Yes, your good history about the relationship. So
Yeah.
it's something that I can hold on, but still you can get the thought of in my mind that in the Philippines it's like the place of competition where there's a lot of Filipina out there that are prettier, smarter, they're good in English, and attractive. So yeah.
I think you should recalculate. I don't think there's very many out there smarter, prettier, more attractive than you. Sugar baby. A sugar baby is a man or a woman who's financially supported by a sugar daddy. That's a sugar baby.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, and then a sugar baby is someone,
Like a couple, a young couple.
a young female or male who is financially pampered, cared for by a sugar daddy or sugar mama in exchange for companionship. That's a sugar baby.
Oh, like you're my sugar daddy and I'm
You're
your
the sugar baby.
baby.
Yeah. And then do you know what, Chrissy? Do you know what hedonism is?
What?
Hedonism.
From the word hidden?
Hedon. Hedon.
Hedon?
Hedonism.
I know.
Person who does everything that is pleasurable. Whatever feels good, you'll do it. And someone who avoids pain is considered a hedonist. So, you know, these women that are all angry at the passport bros, they are kind of very defensive. They think we're hedonists. They think that you're a sugar baby and I'm a sugar daddy. They have latched onto this term passport bro, and you know, they got all worked up and to a froth, and I found myself using their definition incorrectly. Men, our language is being hijacked. Passport bro is a term that is meant to be positive, but somehow it's becoming more and more negative. And so hopefully today, this video and others like it can make that, turn the tide back just a little bit.
Well, you know, we cannot really please everyone, and no matter how we try to make our relationship being normal in our society, there are still a lot of people that will give us stink eye, bad comments, nasty comments, but it is like it's also a challenge. It will test the relationship that we have, and for what I have observed, it didn't shake us. It didn't shake us, but the more we feel the love to each other, the more we defend our relationship from the human eyes, and also we become so happy to inspire everyone there that wants to be here in the Philippines and wants to marry a Filipina, no matter what age you're a Filipino, you will be dating 40 and above or 40 below, as long as it's in legal age.
Yeah.
But yeah, do your own verification also, so that you can avoid scamming by these young people also. But I want to inspire.
Right.
We wanted to inspire them. We want to
set an example.
We wanted to be a model.
Some people, we're setting an example, and some people don't like it. They're like, hey, take your age gap relationship off the TV. We don't want to see it. It's yucky, and they're going to send us some hate. But here we are. Hey, Chrissy, do you know what a hermaphrodite is?
What's hermaphrodite?
You don't. A hermaphrodite. It's someone who has both male and female sex organs. You ever hear of that? I think it's a.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. Like it was featured in some Philippine show program in the TV before.
Oh, yeah. Most people don't get into these type of age gap relationships. Most people haven't left their home country to live abroad. It's becoming more and more common. To your point, we're setting an example.
Yeah.
And to those out there watching, either you just love to see Chrissy smile at the camera, or you're thinking about making the move. Go ahead, gather up your information, and we hope you set out on that initial journey, or you come and join us here in the expat community, where we're living our best life. Till next time,
Only here in Fly Me to the Philippines.
see you on our next video.